Welcome to the District 65 Web-Based Map tutorial. This tutorial will take you through a web-based map testing session and will share testing guidelines specific to District 65. One of the biggest advantages to web-based map is that the proctor can load tests and manage testing from one computer. It is important to note that when proctoring web-based map, the proctor uses a separate computer and website from the student. The proctor logs into the Map Administration Reporting Center, or MARC, in order to manage testing. Students will log in with the XXMap or CBMap login to access the MAP Student Testing Center, where they will test. To start a testing session, log into the Map Administration and Reporting Center. Before you can log in, you will see a pop-up box with notes from NWEA. This box will provide updates on the health of the testing system and share news on any recent improvements or changes. You should have received an email from NWEA containing a login ID, temporary password, and link to this website. You should save this address in your web browser bookmarks for quick access. If you find that you've forgotten your password, simply click the Forgot Username Password link to have a new email sent to you. Your username will always be your District 65 email. Once you've entered your login information, click Submit. Once you've logged in, you will want to click on the Manage Test Sessions link on the left-hand side of the screen. You will not see this link until you've been given proctor permissions. You should now see the Manage Testing Sessions screen. The top section of this screen allows you to create or access testing sessions for the groups of students you need to test. You can search for saved testing sessions by clicking the Show arrow on the Saved Testing Sessions bar. The search will default to any testing sessions you have saved during the current term, but you can choose to see past terms. You can also view sessions saved by all other proctors by unchecking the Restrict to Current user box. If you do not have a saved testing session, you will need to start a new one. If you are proctoring for students not assigned to you in a class, you will use the Find Students to Test button to create a testing session. You will learn how to create testing sessions in a separate tutorial. If you are a teacher proctoring for your own class or classes, simply click the Test My Class button. If you have multiple classes, you will need to select the appropriate class. Class names are a combination of the course code and section number. Once you've picked the correct class, click Test Now. You will now see your students listed in a testing session. If you find that a student is missing from your testing roster, you can click the Add More Students button to search for your student. You will now see the Student Search tab where you can search from a pool of all District 65 students. You can search by school, grade, instructor, class, name, and ID. When searching, choose the appropriate school. Then enter any additional search parameters. Click Search. If your search is successful, you will see a student or list of students that match your search criteria. It is vital that you ensure you are adding and testing the correct student. Make sure that the student ID and birth date listed matches with your student. Once you've selected the correct student or students, you can click Add Students. Once you've added the student or students you need to test, do not forget to click the Save and Return to Testing button. Can't find a student? Do not create new students. To add a new student to web-based map, email Christy Bora at borac@district65.net. Please include the student's name and the student's ID number. If you have students listed in your roster who are absent or who will not be testing with your class, you do not need to remove them from your testing session. Now that your roster is complete, you are ready to assign tests. When assigning tests, you can assign a test to specific students by clicking the checkbox next to each student's name. If you'd like to assign one test to all of your students at once, choose All in the Select Status box. Once you've chosen your students, click Assign Tests, choose the appropriate test, and click Assign. You will now see the test listed in the Test Assignment column. If you discover that you assigned the wrong test to the student, click the student name, click Assign Tests, reassign the appropriate test, and click Assign. You will now see the new test listed in the Test Assignment column. You're now ready for students to join the testing session. When you are ready to test students, you will want to take note of the testing session name and password at the top of the screen. You will want to write this information somewhere for the students to see. Students will log into the laptops using the XXMAP or CBMAP login. The testing site should load automatically. The first screen, the Join Session screen, will ask students to enter the test session name, the test session password, and to click Join. The Sign-In screen will ask students to enter and select their name. The test should load automatically, and the student can click Next. The confirmation screen will ask students to confirm that the information is correct. Once they click Yes, they will see the following screen. Once students sign in, you will see that you have students waiting to be confirmed. You will see the number of students awaiting confirmation under Proctor Action Needed. You will also see that the student's status show as To Be Confirmed. Updates on this screen will refresh every 60 seconds, but you can click the Refresh Status button to better monitor testing. Before confirming students, you should walk around and make sure every student is signed in with the right name and has the correct test assigned. You can then confirm individual students by clicking the checkbox next to their name and choosing Confirm in the action box. If you noticed a student was signed in incorrectly, you can check the student name and choose Do Not Confirm. The student will be kicked back to the sign-in screen and will have to re-log in. To confirm all students waiting confirmation at once, click Confirm Now. You will see that their status has changed to Confirmed. As students test, you can monitor their testing by watching their progress in the Approximate Question column. During testing, you may find that you need to interrupt a student's test for one reason or another. You will have 3 options. If a student needs a short break, you can pause the test. The test will stay paused for 30 minutes. If you need to stop a test for a longer period of time, you can suspend the test. The test will stay suspended for up to 28 days. You can also terminate a test, but please be careful. Once a test is terminated, it is gone forever. To pause a test, click the checkbox next to the student's name and choose Pause in the Select Action box. The student will see the following screen and their test will remain paused for 30 minutes. When the student returns, you can resume their test by clicking their name and choosing Resume. The student can then continue testing. If a student becomes ill or is unable to finish a test within a scheduled testing period, you will need to stop their test for a longer period of time. You can suspend a student's test by clicking the checkbox next to their name and choosing Suspend in the Select Action box. You will be asked to confirm the suspend. Click OK. The student's testing status will show as suspended. The student will see the following screen and can resume testing at a later time. It is important to note that once a student's test is suspended, the student cannot rejoin the current testing session until you perform an important step. To allow the student to rejoin, you will need to use the Test Again feature. Click on the student's name and choose Test Again in the action box. The student's status will change to Awaiting Student, and the student can then rejoin the testing session. When you confirm a student whose test was previously suspended, a pop-up screen will appear and ask if you wish to resume the original test or start a brand new test. Choose to resume the original test and click Submit. The student can then resume where he or she left off. If you find that a student is taking the wrong test, or another situation arises that necessitates the termination of a test, you can do so by clicking the checkbox next to the student's name and choosing Terminate in the Select Action box. You will be asked to confirm the termination. Click OK. The student will show as terminated, and the student will see the following screen. Please remember, once a test is terminated, it is gone forever. You can interrupt a test from a student's computer by clicking Ctrl-Shift-P. The student's test will pause automatically and you will see the following screen. The actions on this screen will remain grayed out and inaccessible until you enter the Proctor PIN. The Proctor PIN can be found on the right-hand side of the testing session screen. Once you enter the PIN, you have the ability to resume, suspend, and terminate from the student's computer. You can also enter and send problem item reports directly from this screen. As students finish testing, you will see their testing status change to completed. Once a student has finished testing, no further steps are needed. When the testing time is up, suspend tests for any students still testing. Then click the End Testing Session button. If you have used the Test My Class feature, you do not need to save the testing session. If you created this session and would like to save, please use the District 65 naming convention. When naming a District 65 testing session, please include the school number, the first 4 letters of your last name, and 1 to 5 characters to further describe the testing session. For example, if Mr. Jones were proctoring at Chute, his test session might read 1002 Joan Lit 6. There is an excellent searching tool you can use to determine if all of your students have tested and to create makeup testing sessions. To access this search, navigate to the Manage Testing Sessions page and click the Find Students to Test button. Click the Test History Search tab. This tab will allow you to search for students who have not yet tested and for students with suspended tests. When searching, choose the appropriate school, test, and testing status. If your search is successful, you have the ability to add the student or students to a testing session so they can test. There are many additional resources available to proctors. The Help button is always accessible and will tailor the search to your current screen. On the home page, you will find links to online trainings and printable documents in the gray box. If you click the link under Map Essentials Online Training and click the Testing button, you will find the Proctor Quick Start and Proctor Tools tutorials. It is recommended you view these tutorials. You can access a step-by-step testing guide and further resources by clicking the Proctor Help Center link. The Partner Update page is accessible by clicking the link on the bottom of the pop-up box that appears on the Login page. This page will give detailed updates on the testing system and share map news. Thank you so much for taking this tutorial, and good luck with map testing.